Hey everyone, it's Sarah, and today I am back with a number one, this is a really requested video, and number two, it was one that I was planning on filming anyways this week. This is my most worn of 2021. So I had such a hard time going back to think about all of the fragrances that I wore like in the spring and summer for some reason, but I think I've got a lot of the fragrances that I've really been like, that I've reached for the most this year for sure. I think because I had such a I made such a drastic change in my life this year when I quit my job that it's like, I don't even know, it feels like, this doesn't even feel like the same year that I started, which is crazy, but I'm sure you guys know what I'm talking about. But anyways, yeah, I've got a ton here. I'm going to go through and I'm going to try to stay in order by like spring through to winter. Yeah, so I'm going to jump right in. These are in no particular order, but I'm going to save my most worn perfume of this entire year, like the one that I have put the biggest dent in. I'm going to have to repurchase another bottle probably in the next 6 months or so. Like I've worn it to death. I'm going to save that one for the last. So let's start with this guy. This is Ralph Lauren Blue, and I wore this like crazy this past spring. I adore this fragrance. This is the most beautiful, and it's funny because I didn't even realize this was still available. It absolutely is. You can still pick this up at Ulta, and this is stunning. This is such a beautiful, light, sweet, springy floral. It smells like honeysuckle. It smells like fresh honeysuckle. Fresh honeysuckle, fresh jasmine, fresh gardenia. It smells like a blend of those three sweet, light, soft, white florals. It's such a stunning fragrance. Like, I cannot tell you how much I wore this past spring. I reached for it all the time. This is another thing about this one. It is like magic with my skin chemistry. And I'm not the only one. I've had so many of you tell me that this is like magic with your skin chemistry too. So I think this is one of those that's just, like, it just works for a lot of people. It's just such an underrated, beautiful springtime gem. And I wore this into summer too. Like I've got a big dent in mine. I reached for it like crazy this year. So anyways, that is the first one, Ralph Lauren Blue. I'm going to try not to talk about everyone this much because we will be here forever if I do. Okay, another one that I reached for an absolute boatload this past spring, and I usually do in the spring, summer, I reach for this fragrance a ton, is Stella McCartney Pop Bluebell. I adore this fragrance. This is one of my favorite fragrances for warm weather. It's one of my favorite florals for warm weather. Oh my gosh, it's so classy smelling for being like a light floral. There's something about this, and pop. I love the original pop too, which I need to pull that out and give it some love because I've not worn that fragrance for like 2 years now, I think. But I adore this. There is something so like classy. It's very unique. It's very perfumey smelling, if that makes any sense. Like very department store perfumey smelling, but in such a good way. It's like very slightly sweet. It's this really very classy, classic, light springtime floral. Gosh, I just love it. I get complimented on this every time I wear it too, because this is another one that just meshes well with my skin chemistry, and I adore it. I love this fragrance. I reached for this a ton this past spring. These two were probably my most worn florals for sure. I just wore them a ton. So anyways, that is Stella McCartney Pop Bluebell. It's just such a good floral, such a good one. Okay, another one that I wore a lot. I didn't wear this quite as much as I wore the last two that we talked about, but I did wear this quite a few times. It's Trussardi Delicate Rose. Now, this is such a stunning, light, bright, airy, soapy. Actually, I would say more shampoo-y. It's more of like a shampoo-y rose. This smells like it could be a Way fragrance. If you guys know of the fragrance line from the shampoo and hair care company called Way, they make a line of fragrances. This smells like it could be in that line. It's just this really beautiful shampoo-y rose. It's gorgeous. I could absolutely see this in a Way bottle. I could smell it as a shampoo. I get a lot of compliments on this one too when I wear it. People really, really like this one. So this is like a rose for people that hate rose. This is like a beginner rose, like a super easy to reach for. I have a rose body lotion from Bath and Body Works, which I think is part of their like $4.95 skincare right now, or body care right now in the semi-annual sale. But it's beautiful with this layered over that rose body lotion. It's so beautiful. It's very clean and just really, really pleasant smelling. So anyways, I wore this a ton this past year. Not, like I said, not quite as much as the last two I talked about, but I definitely reached for this a lot. So anyways, that is Trussardi Delicate Rose. Another fragrance that I reached for a ton in the spring and summer is this one from Hermes. This is Un Jardin sur le Toit, and this is hands down my favorite fragrance from this line. I've got every single one of them at this point, and this is my absolute favorite. This, oh my gosh. Number one, for being such a spring fragrance, and this is really, really unique. It's got grass and basil and rose and like a fresh cut grass note. It's slightly sweet. It is so beautiful. It's so beautiful and so unique. And usually fragrances that are kind of delicate smelling like this one is, usually they don't last very long. This thing is so persistent. I can spray this on in the morning, just doing my like normal spray routine, and I will never have to reapply this for the entire day. Like, you will smell this forever. I mean, I'm talking 10, 12 hours this one lasts on me. It's one of my favorites, hands down, in my collection as far as these kind of fragrances go. As far as like warm weather spring fragrances, it's one of my favorite rose fragrances in my collection too, and I don't talk about this one enough. It's just so good. If I could recommend any from this line, this is the one that I would absolutely, like, hands down recommend the most. This is the best one. But anyways, I reached for this an absolute ton this past spring and summer. I loved it. I loved wearing it to work because it easily got me through my entire 10-hour workday. I could smell it all day. It's just a perfect fragrance. And so yeah, I wore it a ton to work and I absolutely love it. It wasn't like I never really got compliments on this fragrance, but I don't really care. I'm not one of those people that's really looking for compliments. As long as I'm not like offending anybody or making somebody sick with my perfume, then I really couldn't care less if people like my perfume or not. As like I said, as long as I'm not offending anybody or making them sick. But anyway, so yeah, that is Un Jardin sur le Toit from Hermes. Such an underrated, gorgeous fragrance that I wore an absolute ton this year. Okay, another one that I wore a lot, and I wore this one to work a lot too because this is a very highly complimented fragrance for me, and it's just an easy reach warm weather fragrance. This is Elizabeth and James Nirvana White, and this is, I can never remember the three notes. Lily of the Valley. I think this one is Lily of the Valley, Jasmine, and White Musk, if I remember correctly. I will, of course, have the notes on the screen for you. Hi, baby. So anyways, this is just really beautiful, very clean smelling, very non-offensive, very pleasant. This one lasts a really long time on clothing. It doesn't last too long on skin. I would say maybe 4 to 5 hours on skin, but it'll last all day on clothes. So this is another one that I would just reach for a ton to wear to work, because it's just such a beautiful, pleasant, light, clean floral. And I have the dry shampoo to match this. And the dry shampoo smells exactly like the perfume. It's just so beautiful. And I just adore it. And I reached for it an absolute ton this past year. So I also have the oil that I will sometimes layer this over the oil, and it really helps with longevity. All of these Elizabeth and James fragrances have been discontinued too. So they're getting harder and harder to come by. So I don't know that I'm going to reach for it as much this coming year because of that, because I don't want to run out of any of mine. But anyways, I did reach for this an absolute ton this past spring and summer. And again, that is Elizabeth and James Nirvana White. Another fragrance that I reached for a ton in the spring summertime was my Guerlain Shalimar cologne. Now, I do have Guerlain Eau de Shalimar, which I adore that fragrance so much too. I love it just as much as this one. That one is so incredibly hard to find though, and I'm so grateful that I have a bottle of it. It's so hard to come by now. Well, it has been. It's been so hard to come by for so long now that I am very sparing with it. I did wear it this past spring and summer a few times. This one I find is getting really, really hard to find too though. So I'm going to start being more sparing with this even, because this one is becoming really difficult to find as well. It's Shalimar, but it is the most beautiful, like juicy lemon and vanilla Shalimar. It's light and bright and it's full of citrus, like tons of citrus in this. I think it's got like every citrus. It's got bergamot, it's got orange, it's got lemon, it's got lime, like it's got every citrus fruit in it. So it is just this beautiful, like bowl of citrus fruits, but on a bed of the most light, fluffy, airy, creamy vanilla. I adore it. I love it so much. This is one of my favorite Shalimars, like hands down. And again, I'm going to start being sparing with this. I reached for this an absolute ton. You wouldn't know it because I don't have a huge dent in it, but so it doesn't look like I use it that much, but I feel like I wore this just a ton. I mean, I must have worn this no less than like 15 times this past year, which is a lot for me. I typically rotate perfumes out every single day and every single week. So if it's one that lived on my desk at some point this year, it got pulled. Because if it lived on my desk, that means that I was obsessed with it and I just wanted to keep wearing it. So anyways, I love this fragrance. It is, again, becoming difficult to come by, but it is one of my favorite Shalimars. That is Shalimar Cologne. It's such a beautiful warm weather Shalimar. Another fragrance that I wore an absolute boatload, and I wore this I wore it a lot in the summertime, a lot, because I think I told you guys this past summer, I was just going through something where I just wanted like cozy fragrances. I never really got into, which is why I wore fragrances like this, because that vanilla in the base is super cozy for me. And I just never really got out of that. I went through a short phase where I was into spring summer scents, but then I just wanted cozy fragrances. So my most worn celebrity scent for sure is Britney Spears' Private Show. I wore this an absolute ton this past year. I wore this spring, summer, fall, like I've been wearing it. This is one that I haven't been able to really put down all year. It works in the heat. It's not cloying, it's not suffocating, it's light enough. It's like, and when I say light, I mean light as in it's not a dense gourmand. I don't know. It is such a good fragrance, and this one is getting hard to come by too, which makes me so sad. I'm gonna have to buy a backup of this. I found mine at TJ Maxx like a few years ago, and yeah, I'm gonna need a backup of it because I wear the heck out of this fragrance. It lasts forever on me too. This is one that I can spray on in the morning, and I will overspray it, but I will never have to reapply if I don't want to. I can wear it all year round. It's cozy, it's comforting. It's got this beautiful coffee note in it, but it's like a sweet latte coffee note. Oh, it's so good. I've recommended this to so many people, and so many people have bought it and said, I'm so glad I bought it because it is so good and I enjoy it so much. And I'm like, yes, I'm so glad. So anyways, that is Britney Spears' Private Show. I have worn the absolute heck out of this fragrance like all year, not just in a season. Definitely my most worn celebrity fragrance. Okay, another fragrance that I wore a ton in the spring and summer, and this really is like more of a cold weather fragrance, but I wore this more in, I wore this more in the spring or summer, and I haven't even worn it since then either, which is funny. This is Belle from Jean Paul Gaultier. I adore this fragrance. This has, the notes that I always remember the most are, it's got pear, vanilla, and vetiver. Oh, I just love this so much. This is one of my most complimented fragrances ever too. I get so many compliments on this when I wear it. People just love it. Mine has totally, like, it used to be this really beautiful kind of light pink shade, and the vanilla in it has darkened so much it's turned kind of brown, which I do not mind because I love it when vanilla deepens up like that. But anyways, I wore this an absolute ton in both the spring and the summer. I haven't reached for it since then because as soon as it got to be like fall and I could start wearing my like heavier scents, I did. But again, that just goes to show you, I was just obsessed with like cozy scents this past year. So I wore it a lot because it is one that I could wear to work and it would get me through the entire workday, and I would never have to worry about like reapplying it, which I never reapplied fragrance at work anyways. But yeah, I just adore this. It is definitely one of my most worn of 2021, and I shame on me for having bought the Parfum formulation and I've never even worn it, which is so silly. So anyways, yeah, Jean Paul Gaultier Belle, such a stunner of a fragrance. Okay, and then one that I wore the absolute heck out of this past summer, and I wore, let's see here. Yeah, I wore this so much this past summer, like it is not even funny. I wore the oil more than the little eau de toilette because this is only a half ounce. But this is the Sage Lifestyle, and this is the perfume oil called Onyx. It doesn't look like I've even used this at all, but I have. I used it an absolute ton this past summer, which I'm glad it still looks almost full because like I used it so much. But I would layer the EDT over the oil to get it to last a little bit longer, but it lasts so well on its own. Oh my gosh, this is one of my favorite coconut fragrances, like hands down, that I've ever smelled. Oh my gosh, it's like coconut and musk. It's like a dark, cozy coconut fragrance. It's so, so good. And it lasts forever. Like, you can put the oil on in the morning and you will still smell like this 10 hours later. This is another one that I wore to work a lot because it got me through my entire workday. It's, oh my gosh. Yeah, it is the best coconut fragrance I've ever smelled. I'm so obsessed with this. I cannot wait. It's like, ooh, I want summer to come back around so I can start wearing this again, which I can wear it in the middle of the winter. Who cares? I probably will. Oh, it is so good. It is so good. And I have so many good coconut lotions from Bath & Body Works. But this is like coconut on another level. This is like, I don't know. I don't want to cheapen it with my Bath & Body Works, if that makes any sense. Because this is such a... it's just such a good quality smelling coconut. But anyways, yeah, I wore this an absolute ton. I keep it in its little holder just because I think that this little holder is so cute. And yeah, this is one, if I ever get through all of this, this is one I'm going to be buying that like $300 vanity bottle of it. Because, is it $300? No, I think it's like $115 maybe. But yeah, this is one that I will be buying the big bottle of next time because this is my favorite coconut of life, like hands down. So anyways, that is the Sage Lifestyle Onyx. I love it so much. Okay, now we're going to start getting into some of the more recent fragrances that I've been wearing. I didn't pull a ton for like cold weather fragrances, but I did pull the ones that I've just been obsessed with and have not been able to stop wearing. So the next one that I've pulled a lot this year is Michel Germain Sugarful. I love this fragrance. This smells like Smarties or Sweet Tarts or something with vanilla. It smells like a super bright, tart, sugary candy, like pixie sticks or something, but like on a soft vanilla base. It's so good. I love this. This is another one that I wore it to work a ton because it's a beast. This will easily get me through a 10-hour day without having to reapply. It's so good. It gets compared, I think people have compared this to pink sugar. This does not smell like pink sugar to me. This doesn't have a caramel note. Yeah, I don't think this has caramel in it. It doesn't have like any kind of a burnt quality to it the way pink sugar does. Man, I love this though. And I actually put a pretty good little dent in this. This is one of those fragrances that has such a fine mist when you spray it that you can spray it a ton. I've got another fragrance here that I'll show you that is the same. Like you can spray it a whole ton and it looks like you haven't even sprayed it at all. And this is one of those. But yeah, I've put a big dent in that fragrance because I wore the absolute heck out of it. Oh my gosh, it's so good. It's also got like it has almost like a fresh, I don't know, like a fresh pear note. Oh, it's just so good. I love it. It's amazing. So anyways, this is such an underrated gem too. I picked it up mostly for the bottle because I thought the bottle was so cute. But man, after I wore this, I was like obsessed with this earlier this year. I could not, it was one of those that lived on my desk. I could not put it down. I've just been loving it. And I've been loving it all year. Like this is another one. You can see it's a cozy, fragrance, even though it smells like candy and pixie sticks. There's a coziness to it, and which is why I wore it all spring, summer. I've been wearing it in the fall. Yeah, I think this is in my Halloween video, in my Halloween perfume video because it's just a great fragrance. It really is. So, anyways, that is Sugarful from Michel Germain. I've worn that a boatload this year. Okay. Another fragrance that I wore a lot this year is Libre Intense from YSL. This is another one that can be worn any time of year. It's just like, oh, it is just the most perfect fragrance. It's so good. The original Libre is so good too, the EDP, but this one is a little bit sweeter. It's more intense. It smells just like the original EDP, but this one is sweeter and much more intense. And this is one that I wore all summer long. I was obsessed with this because, again, very cozy, but it held up in the heat just fine. It wasn't cloying. It wasn't, oh my gosh. It was just an amazing fragrance to be wearing all summer. And I did wear it all the way into the fall too. I just haven't worn it maybe for the past couple months or so. I think the last time I wore it was in October. So yeah, it's just, oh, I reached for it a ton. I've got a big, huge dent in it. I adore this fragrance. This is one that like eventually I'm going to buy a huge backup bottle of it because I do not ever want to be without this fragrance. I adore it that much. So anyways, that is YSL Libre Intense. Ooh, this is going to be a long video, you guys. I'm sorry. We're getting close to the end though. Okay. The next fragrance is my most like worn layered, or my most worn fragrance that I use to layer. I use this fragrance so much, like all the time. I've got a huge dent in it and it'll be no surprise to any of you. This is Outremer Vanille, and you can see when I tell you guys this thing was filled all the way up into the neck, it is, and it was all the way into the neck. I have used this just a ton because I use it to layer with so much. This is another one like Sugarful, where the mist, when you spray it, is so fine that it takes like forever to make a dent in the bottle. It's basically vanilla and cotton candy. It is such a beautiful layering vanilla. It is also a beast. It's one of those fragrances that when I layer with it, usually whatever I layered it with will wear off and it'll be gone, but this will still be there. Like I'll smell this all day long, but whatever I layered with it will be gone. You can pick it up from Anthropologie for $18. You can also pick it up if they don't have it at Anthropologie anymore. You can pick it up on the Small Flower website, and they carry a ton of Outremer fragrances. So anyways, yeah, this is it's just such a beautiful layering vanilla. It's also beautiful on its own, and it's a beast. It lasts absolutely forever. So anyways, that is Outremer Vanille. Okay, let's get into more of the colder weather fragrances that I have and have been wearing. This is the next one. I have worn this fragrance so much this year since the fall. Like, it's not even funny. I've got a huge dent in this fragrance as well. This is Etat Libre d'Orange, like this. And you can see, for me, this is a really big dent. Most of my perfumes look like this, where it's like I've worn them. You can tell that I've worn them, but you know, there's not like a huge dent. And that's one of my most worn fragrances this year. So that just shows you just how much I've worn this fragrance. Like, I have worn the heck out of like this. There's something about this fragrance that I love so much. That fragrance for me it's so comforting and cozy. It's one that I will wear in the summertime. I'll wear it all year. Like, I don't even care. The only thing is it lasts so much better in the cold weather. Or I should say it performs so much better in the cold weather. But I adore this. This is ginger and immortelle flower. I read somewhere a long time ago that this has carrot seed in it, but I'm not seeing carrot seed anywhere in the ingredient or in the notes anymore. But I swear it has carrot seed in it. I don't know, maybe I'm imagining that. But I adore this fragrance. Again, I say this every time because I rave so much about this, and I'm afraid that people are going to run out and buy this and be like, dude, she raves about that like it is, like it was sent straight from heaven or something. Like, you know, like it is amazing, and it's not that great. And it's not. It's nothing like super groundbreaking. It's nothing that, I think, unless you're a person that likes fragrances the way that I like, unless you're a person that really, really likes the types of fragrances that I like, I think it would just be okay for you. But if you like the types of fragrances that I like if you find yourself really feeling like connected to me on a fragrance level, if that makes any sense, I think you would absolutely love this. It's just such a stunning fragrance. I'm obsessed with it. This is another one. I need to get a big backup bottle of it. Like, I need to get the biggest backup bottle that they have because I can't be without this ever. So anyways, that is Etat Libre d'Orange, like this. Definitely one of my most worn for this year. Okay. My most worn amber, and I even wore this back in the summertime because I just started craving it, but this is definitely my most worn amber of the year. I just wore this again the other night. I've worn it a lot this year, like, because I wore this even in the summertime, even in the springtime, like I wore it to bed. I've just been wearing it a ton this year, and that is L'Eau d'Ombre Extreme from L'Artisan Perfumer. I love this fragrance. There's something so comforting and cozy about this. It's just, it's like, I don't know, it's like your grandmother's amber perfume, but loaded with a ton of vanilla. there's something really, really comforting about it. There's something a little bit mature smelling about it, but in the best way possible. I just adore this fragrance, and I think it's been reformulated. So I don't know if the new formulation smells like my bottle, or if it's just been repackaged and maybe it hasn't been reformulated. I need to see if I can track down a decant of the one in the new bottle so I can compare it to this. But yeah, I adore this. I've been wearing it all year. I wear it to bed a lot. This is another one that I've got a pretty big dent in it because I've just been, I don't know, I've been obsessed with this fragrance this year. Like the entire year. It's by far my most worn amber fragrance, and yeah, I've been loving it. So anyways, that is L'Eau d'Ambre Extreme from L'Artisan Perfumer. Okay, this is another one that you guys are not going to be surprised to see. This one has been living on my desk, and again, we know if it's been living on my desk, it's one that I reach for a boatload. This is Lalique Le Parfum, and this is one that I've always really liked, but I hardcore fell in love with this year. And really in the fall, I pulled it out this past fall. As soon as the weather started getting kind of cooler, I think I did an updated vanilla video right around the time it started cooling off. And I pulled it out then, and this has changed some because the vanilla has really, really, I don't know if it's aged. I don't know what it's done, but it's deepened up like the vanilla aspect of it has. This has a bay leaf note in it that turns a lot of people off. And it is really, really prominent like it was when I first got this fragrance, but now the vanilla is so much more prominent than any other note in it. I still get the bay leaf just a little bit, but not nearly what it was when I first bought this. But this is one that has been living on my desk all season because I'm obsessed. This is another one that I've got a pretty darn big dent in it because I've just been wearing the heck out of it. Like, I can't put it down. This is one of those fragrances that this is all I've been wanting to wear this past fall and winter. And it's going to continue to live on my desk because I'm kind of obsessed with it. So anyways, yeah, it's beautiful. It lasts a really long time on me. In the warmer weather, this one doesn't last that great. But in the cold weather, I easily get 8 hours out of this. It's one of those that is great. If you spray it on clothing, you're going to smell it on clothes for days, like days. So, or until you wash them. So anyways, yeah, this is one of my most worn for sure. This is Lalique Le Parfum. I think I said in a past video that I've been kind of obsessed with that. Okay, and then the last two that I want to talk about are ones that I have just recently gotten, but these are ones that I have not been able to stop wearing since I got both of them. I've been obsessed, and I don't foresee that stopping anytime soon. These are two other ones that will live on my desk and that I will be wearing, I'll be wearing nonstop. The first one is Wicked Good from Gallagher Fragrances. So this is one of those that it is so funny. I had a big decant of this for the longest time, and I knew it was a pretty expensive fragrance because I knew that like the vanilla that they use in this is quite pricey. And so I knew I wasn't going to be able to buy a full bottle of it anytime soon. So I rationed that little decant forever, but I finally just pulled it out like a month ago. And I tested it, and oh my gosh, you guys, it's such an incredible fragrance. It's 3 notes. It's chocolate, Madagascar, vanilla, and tonka bean. And when it's funny because I talked about that fragrance in a video, and then I went to put a link for it in my description box, and I saw that this was on super sale. It was like $200 and I don't know, it was like $248 or something, and then they marked it down. Like it was like $100 off. It was more than $100 off. I think it was maybe $115 or $128. I can't remember, but I had to grab it because I'm like obsessed with it, and I have been obsessed with this. I've been wearing this at least 3 times a week since I got it, like at least. And this will be living on my desk because I'm obsessed. Like I can't stop wearing it, and I'm so glad to have a bottle of this. My next purchase from Gallagher Fragrance, I think I'm gonna buy 2 bottles. They just came out with one that it says it's out of the vault. They brought it back from the vault. It's called Vanilla Silk. I want that so bad. And I want Rosé All Day so bad. Those are 2, like, I'm going to be selling off some perfumes so I can buy those too. But anyways, I'm obsessed. I am obsessed. So anyways, that is Wicked. Sorry, I keep saying anyways. So that is Wicked Good from Gallagher. And then last but not least, you guys, this is one that I am obsessed with. I cannot stop wearing it. And if I had a signature fragrance, this would absolutely be it. I cannot think of a more perfect fragrance than this, and that is Lake and Sky 1111. Oh my gosh, I am obsessed with this. There's nothing groundbreaking. It's like a clean white musk, but holy cow, there's something about it. It's white musk and a blend of white amber, it says, and there's something so special about this. It's such an incredible fragrance. I truly mean it. If I were, oh, hi kitty. If I were ever going to have a signature fragrance, this would be it, hands down. This would be my signature fragrance. I would have to have this. It lasts absolutely forever. This is the oil. The spray perfume is beautiful too. Hi. The spray perfume, sorry, my cat swishing her tail. The spray perfume is beautiful too, but it does not last as long as the oil does. And it is just slightly different smelling because it's alcohol, and this is not. Oh my gosh. I'm obsessed with this fragrance though. Absolutely obsessed. I have not been able to put this down since I got it. This is another one that I want a full bottle of the spray perfume. I want another roller ball of the oil. Oh, it's so good. So anyways, that is Lake and Sky. Like if I were going to tell you to try any fragrance from the Lake and Sky line, this is the one I would suggest. I think it is incredibly safe. I don't think that there's any way that somebody would not like this. The Côte de Paradis is another one. I want a full bottle of it so bad because it's incredible. But so is this. This is if I were going to say, in fact, let me just put this out there. I think this is the most underrated gem of a fragrance that I have discovered this year. Definitely. The most underrated, best fragrance that I have discovered this year is Lake and Sky 1111. So anyways, I adore it. It's such a, oh my gosh, it's made me so happy these last few weeks. I'm obsessed. This is another one. I've been easily wearing this like 3 times a week. So anyways, again, Lake and Sky 1111. Another one that is another more recent purchase that I have just been wearing like crazy and that has been living on my desk too is this one. This is called, this is from Women's Secret. It's such a weird, it's like women apostrophe secret. And it's called Oh My Secret. This is amazing. It lasts so well. Like it's such a good performing fragrance. And especially for the price, I want to say you can pick this up on Fragrance Net for like $22. It's so affordable. And it's so good. And I've just been wearing the crap out of this ever since I got it. I reach for it probably once or twice a week, easily. Like, I just adore this fragrance. This is another one that is like one of the best, I think, underrated gems of this year for sure. if you like Manifesto, I think you would really, really like this. Or even if you like Dior Addict and want something a little bit lighter and more wearable than Addict, I think you would really like this. It's not that it smells like Addict at all, but it's that kind of a fragrance. So anyways, that is Oh My Secret from Women's Secret. I've just been wearing the heck out of it. Okay, and then last but not least is my most worn fragrance this entire year. Hands down, my most worn fragrance. I will be needing to pick up another bottle of this pretty soon. And now Charlotte has gotten to where she really likes to wear this one too. This is Oscar de la Renta Lavender, and I just bought this back in, it was sometime earlier this year. I want to say maybe March or something, and you can see I've already run through almost half a bottle of this. Like, this is hands down my most worn fragrance of this year. I wear it all the time. I wear it to bed. Most of the time I'm wearing it to bed. Usually it's my bedtime fragrance, but I've worn it, like, I've had days where I just want to smell like this, and so I'll wear it, like, you know, during the day too. I just went to Bath & Body Works because somebody told me that Fireside Flurries smells like that fragrance. I have been dying to get my hands on Fireside Flurries. It sold out online like super, super fast, so Charlotte and I drove down to a Bath & Body Works today so I could get my hands on it. They had one little tiny corner of only body lotion, and I went ahead and grabbed it. So I'm excited to test it out and see what it is like with this. I'm hoping that it's great to layer this over that, and maybe it'll help this last a little longer, because this is not the best performing fragrance in the world, but it is my most worn fragrance. It is a beautiful, sweet, milky lavender. It is like a lavender latte. It's like it doesn't have coffee in it, but it's just this really beautiful milky lavender. It's so cozy and creamy and warm, and it is like everything that I want in a bedtime fragrance, and I just adore it. I love it when Charlotte wears this because I get to smell it secondhand on somebody else, which is also really, really nice. She sprayed this on one time when we went to the grocery store, and as she kind of walked around the grocery store, I was smelling this like trailing off of her, and it was so enjoyable for me to smell it on somebody else. So anyways, this is Oscar de la Renta Lavender, by far my most worn fragrance of 2021. So anyways, guys, that is it. We made it. I know there's a ton. I know this is a super long video. I do hope that you guys enjoyed this one. If you did, don't forget to give it a big thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe before you leave, and I will see you guys in my next one. Ah! No! What?
The is better.
Okay. Let me say bye. Jeez. Bye.